live at 6.
Thanks for joining us on News Channel 3 live at 6. We're starting with a live look over downtown Kalamazoo as some storms move through the area. Let's head right over to our meteorologist Will Haney with a look at what's going on. Will?
Yeah, Princess, some of you are probably like, storms? What storms? That's because these storms so far this afternoon have remained mainly across portions of Allegan and Barry counties northward. Farther south hasn't seen much, and these storms are pretty isolated in nature. So Allegan, as we start off there, one location that has dodged the rain. But as we look at live Doppler radar, still a pretty impressive storm ongoing in the Hastings area and up towards, say, Lake Odessa in southern Ionia County. Now, this did have a severe thunderstorm warning that just expired at 6 p.m. It did briefly have a severe thunderstorm warning for the potential of wind gusts up to about 60 miles per hour. That white box there that you see across southern Ionia County, that's a special weather statement, basically just indicating this is a strong but still sub-severe storm. Now, as we look at the velocity associated with this within the last hour, you can see where the strongest winds really developed, mainly north of Hastings. Those bright greens that you see there, northwest of Hastings to be exact, would be, if we saw any damage, the most likely area. Now, as we look at live Doppler again across the region, you can see a couple areas of showers and storms well off to our west. This is going to be a secondary round of storms that we're expecting to arrive late tonight, specifically after about 9 p.m. And that would also pose a limited threat of some gusty winds. As far as rainfall reports, you can see where those storms actually did fall today across portions of eastern Allegan and kind of north central Barry County and then up towards Lake Odessa. Some pretty impressive rain at that. It's 89 in Kalamazoo, feeling like 96. These storms developing today in this ample heat and humidity. But again, it's that secondary round that's going to be a little bit more widespread late tonight and into the overnight. We'll talk about potential risks and the risk thresholds tonight coming up in minutes. Princess.
Thank you, Will. Consumers Energy says it already has its crews ready and waiting to restore power if it goes out overnight tonight. The company says they prepared over 350 company and contractor crews, and they're reminding everyone of safety tips to keep in mind during storms and outages. Stay at least 25 feet away from down power lines, give crews working along roads plenty of room, and never use a generator in an attached garage, basement, enclosed patio, or near any air intakes. It could cause dangerous levels of carbon monoxide. New tonight, an investigation is underway after a fight at a Rivertown Crossing Mall in Granville. Police say they were called to the scene around 2:30 today after reports of a fight involving firearms. Officers from Granville Police, Wyoming Police, Ottawa County Sheriff's Office, and Kent County Sheriff's Office all quickly responded to the scene. When they got there, they interviewed witnesses and those involved and found that the fight did not involve any firearms. It's unknown at this time if anyone was arrested. An investigation into the fight is ongoing. Meanwhile, an update tonight to a story we first brought you back in June. The Ottawa County Sheriff's Office told us over 45 cars had their tires slashed in Holland Township overnight on June 7th. They say the dollar amount of the damaged property is believed to be several $1,000s. Now, officials say they've identified 4 juvenile suspects. They say they're all boys between 15 and 17 years old from the Holland Township and Bangor areas. The case has been forwarded to the juvenile court for review. We're learning one person is dead after a crash in St. Joseph County. The sheriff's office there says it happened Friday just before 2 p.m. in the area of M60 and M66 in Minden Township. Deputies say a 36-year-old woman driving a county transportation van ran a stop sign and was hit by a semi traveling east. They say the woman was pronounced dead at the scene. Deputies say alcohol nor speed appear to be factors in this crash. In Cass County, 2 people were hurt after a crash involving a motorcycle. Officials say it happened around 7:15 Friday night at the intersection of US 12 and Gumwood Road. Cass County deputies say a motorcycle driven by a 22-year-old Niles man failed to stop in time and rear-ended a car that was trying to turn left. The driver of the car was taken to the hospital for his injuries. The motorcyclist was treated at the scene. Deputies say seatbelts and a helmet were worn at the time of the crash. The incident remains under investigation tonight. A weeks-old puppy found tied up in a trash bag and left for dead along the side of the road in Battle Creek this week is making progress tonight. He was rescued by a passerby in the nick of time. Michigan State Police data reveals that hundreds of cases of animal cruelty are reported every year, and the problem only seems to be getting worse. Michigan State Police say there were 123 incidents of animal cruelty in 2017. Just a few years later, in 2023, that number grew to 913.
It could range anywhere from a misdemeanor punishable by up to 93 days to a misdemeanor punishable by up to a year. And in those sort of worst case scenarios, felonies that are punishable by up to 4 years in prison.
A police report has been filed with the Calhoun County Sheriff's Office, but at this time, we have not been told if a suspect has been identified. As for the puppy himself, we're told it is now moving around more and is eating. However, it's still dealing with vision and nerve issues. Today, dozens in Grand Rapids marched, sang, and prayed for peace in a region far outside the Great Lakes state. The Association for a Just Society says democracy in Honduras is under threat, and if it fails, the fallout could change life in the U.S. News Channel 3's Colin Roos found out why organizers say Michigan has a part to play for peace in Central America.
It was a half-mile walk for a country 3,000 miles away. Marchers gave their support for free and fair Honduran elections this coming November, saying what happens in Latin American politics affects what happens in our own. Early Saturday morning, attendees gathered to make signs in protest of what they call years of corruption from Honduran leaders. Adults and children then took those signs through the streets of Grand Rapids, mirroring the march in which tens of thousands of Hondurans are participating this weekend. Director Kyle Myers-Skop says the more the world sees what Honduran leaders are doing, the less likely they are to steal an election.
Hondurans are a part of West Michigan. They're a part of Grand Rapids. They're a part of the Lakeshore. They're a part of Kalamazoo.
His Association for a Just Society group in the U.S. has focused on stabilizing Honduras since 2000. He says its ruling government has signaled it won't commit to an electoral calendar this year and worries it could follow the lead of its neighbor Nicaragua, a country ruled by the same dictator for decades. After living in Latin America for 15 years, Pastor Joel Van Dyke says he saw how resilient Honduran people are to political corruption.
The systems and injustice are clamoring and trying to steal away hope and joy in life in ways that are just indescribable.
We are marching in the light of God.
While the event was not organized by any specific denomination, marchers sang Christian songs in support for the Catholic and evangelical groups in Honduras joining together to support democracy. One attendee said she took part because she feels justice stretches beyond a country's borders.
I believe that when you bring justice to one place, it's reciprocated in others. And so if one part of the world is doing better, then in the long game, we're doing better.
Organizers also want political action to move forward here in the U.S. They sent a letter to Representative Hillary Scholten urging her to support House Resolution 4202. It would allow the State Department to send an electoral observing mission to Honduras and allow for sanctions on any official who stands in the way of a free election. Myers-Skop says he hopes our lawmakers listen before it's too late.
Democracy is always fragile everywhere. It's always the task of the people to guard democracy.
House Resolution 4202 is currently in the Committee on Foreign Affairs and has not faced a vote in the U.S. House. Honduras will hold its elections on November 30th. In Grand Rapids, Colin Roos, News Channel 3.
A fundraiser was held in Otsego today for local veterans. It was organized by the National Dads of Foreign Service Veterans, or DFW. The group consists of fathers, sons, uncles, or nephews of veterans who have served in foreign wars. The fundraiser held today raised money specifically for the Otsego veterans of foreign wars post-3030. It featured a huge car show, multiple bands playing live music, vendors, and plenty more. The funds will directly assist veterans in need, whether it's medical assistance, financial assistance, or any other needs they might have.
It's a fundraiser so we can continue our mission of assisting veterans, whatever it is that they need. Might be utility bills, might be construction related, it could be a ride to the doctor's office, whatever they need.
Organizers say their DFW Post 56, has donated roughly $25,000 this year. The post mainly, but not exclusively, serves Allegan and Kalamazoo counties. Coming up, the first major Atlantic hurricane of the year has strengthened. We have the latest on Hurricane Erin as it becomes a Category 5. Plus, Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky is expected to travel to Washington for another meeting with President Trump. We have details on the trip following the president's high-stakes summit in Alaska with Putin.